weekly report. So I finally finished reading. Okay, where do we start actually? With the R because it's a report. Um, and that's for reading. And I finally finished reading The Drum Decade. I just committed to just reading it. And yeah, I really like the essay by Michael Chapman at the end. And I thought that the whole book was engaging, but at some point I was a little wary of how much stories there were about crime. And I know that this is a book written, not a book, but like the short stories are from the 50s, and they're specifically looking at like urban black life in the townships during apartheid, and crime is like a big feature as is crime right now. And yeah, but like I was growing a bit wary of it. I would read a short story and it would end with a death. And on one hand, I'm like, yeah, that is how banal black life can be, and just brutal and so short lived. And yeah, but on the other hand, I was just so tired and it made me so bleak. But that's not necessarily a critique of the writing itself, but just the stories. And I was also very curious about the way that women are depicted in these short stories. So they will either be like a temptress or a very Christian woman, drunkard. And while I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because women are like multifaceted and they are drunkards, not drunkards, but like women who struggle with alcoholism, um, who are always in some kind of love affair. And yeah, but it was like very interesting seeing how that was such a like a main feature. But I also thought that with some short stories that they were three-dimensional characters. Anyway, I really like the essay by Michael Chapman at the end because it contextualizes what these writers were trying to do. And he also talks about the craft itself, that many of them weren't trained to write short stories, and it was lived experience, and they talent got honed in as time went by. And yeah, I was just like really fascinated because he would also like focus on specific writers. And now I'm just very curious about these writers. So Cantemba, I was introduced to in high school, but I really just want to read a book that's just about him, as well as Nat Nagasa. Um, and yeah, also I was like really sad how their lives ended. So many of them. I'm also very curious about Henry Numalo, and there's this like interaction one of the writers has with the editor of Drum during this period where he's talking about like the race black subjugation in South Africa, and what the white editor would do if it came to like an armed resistance or like a war broke out. And he wouldn't answer, and the writer just like left because of like his frustrations. And um yeah, it's like fascinating stuff and very engaging. It's just also that I'm not a person who's into short stories. I've never read a short story and like a collection of short stories and been like blown, my mind being blown away or something like that. It never happens. I doubt it will ever happen. And it's not because I'm resistant to it, it's just I prefer the novel in general. And yeah, and then I'm also reading A Storm of Swords. I just have no words about this novel. I think it's the best in A Song of Ice and Fire. And yeah, I'm just really excited for my weekend because I'm just gonna be reading this and I'm in it. So, so good. Love Bran, love Sansa. I love all of the characters except for Davos. Like, The problem with Davos is that George R. Martin likes him, and I don't. I don't think it's like the worst character. I think it's just like a boring character, but I also don't mind being bored necessarily because I think it's good for me to read perspectives where I'm just like, my mind becomes so dull because that's my experience with Davos. Um, but at the same time, it's good to be um, not uncomfortable because I'm not uncomfortable with his chapters. It's just like, I don't care. But yeah, I love everything else about this. And I'll gather my literary thoughts another time. And then I am eating a lot of these soups from Woolies. I really love this beef and lentil one. I had it with chickpeas this other time and it was so good and so filling. And I might add more lentils. And I had the butternut one for breakfast and the mushroom one as well. They're all good. Even the chicken one. At first, with the chicken one, I was like, because I don't trust bits of chicken that are in a can. Like, I don't understand what's happening with that. So, um, and I know that there's like a science behind it, but at the same time, I don't know. Um, it's very hypocritical of me because even the chicken that I do eat then that's raw has probably been killed for quite some time. It's not like someone just going outside and taking a chicken and killing it. Okay, I'm gonna have a moral crisis because I already have a moral crisis about meat in general. But I just cannot commit to being a vegan forever, unfortunately. And then I'm playing. So I finally finished my sister's scarf. I just need to do the tassels. So yeah, this is it, quite long. And then I just need to do the tassels, which I'm gonna do this week because she's gonna come and see me. Okay, we're just going on a date, and sister date, and yeah, I really like it. It's very warm. My hair is messed up now. I'm also started crocheting myself a bolero today. And I've run out of wool though, so yeah, and it is a bit tight to be honest, but I feel like with time it'll stretch, so I'm not really concerned about that. I just use the person's measurements instead of, but like I felt like it was going to still fit me. It does fit me still, but like I wanted something a bit looser. But now that I know how to make this, I will probably make more. And it's my first time crocheting something with sleeves as well, so I'm really excited. It's really just nice doing something with my hands. And then obsessing. Oh, I am really obsessed with Chaos is a Ladder, the song by Ramin Djawadi. I listen to a lot of soundtracks in general, so he has my heart as well as Nicholas Brittle. The season 1 Succession soundtrack is so good. Like it's just amazing. Um, and then So Good by Red Velvet. It's so good. I am a big Red Velvet fan, and I really like the B sides a lot. But I just love their music in general. I feel like it's pop excellence, and I love girl groups in general because I love women a lot. This is a Suffolk area. And then recommending, I'm not recommending anything to be honest. I'm an interesting, maybe I will recommend something because I change on a day to day basis, but um, I'm in a very weird place where I don't like getting recommendations anymore. And I feel like it's a result of being bombarded by so much media or literature, and I feel overwhelmed. And anytime a friend says, "Oh, here, read this" or whatever, I'm like, "Oh, bookmarked." But the truth is, I'm not reading any of that. Like, I'm just focused on my own taste. And I used to like engaging with what a friend is telling me to read or watch, etc. But I don't think I like it anymore. But at the same time, it's nice when someone thinks of you and reaches out to you and says, "Hey, can you like look at this? This is so interesting." Um, who's that character? Who does Tyler James Williams play in Abbott Elementary? But yeah, when he has this like bit about, I love learning or knowing what you love and give me your recommendations or something. And that used to be me, no longer me. Do not give me recommendations at all, unless I ask for them, obviously. But just, yeah, it's just overwhelming. And I have a list of everything that I want to like read or watch that is very, very long already. So, yeah. And then tea, um, treating. I treated myself to Killers of the Flower Moon and I went to the cinema. Massive. I forgot how big Canal Walk cinema is and really loved it. I just keep thinking about Cara Jade Myers's performance, Lily Gladstone, just emotional depth upon emotional depth. And Cara Jade Myers's um, is only there for like a short bit. And I keep thinking about, oh, not a spoiler, but like when they murder her and she says like, "You're gonna kill me, you're gonna kill me," and just like such a haunting scene. And yeah, Lily Gladstone. This is just phenomenal stuff, and this household supports Martin Scorsese all the time. So, yeah, that is it for my weekly report. And yeah,